In this video, I want to look at every LEGO Star Wars set from the Helmet collection and rank them from worst to best. These sets are seemingly making a comeback in 2025 with some new sets coming really soon, which is always very exciting. Now at the bottom of this list I had to include the Dark Trooper helmet. During the release of The Mandalorian Season 2, these Dark Troopers were really cool and the new big thing for the Empire it seemed, and it was definitely sought after in a set like this. However, the approach wasn't that great. In my opinion, there are way too many visible studs on the top of the head, and in general these all black helmets can be a little bit difficult to properly appreciate from afar, and they look quite strange. I was not a fan of this set, and I think it is unfortunately the worst helmet set made so far. One of the most iconic helmets making it to this wave is Darth Vader, but unfortunately it made for a really odd looking set as well. The helmet looks a bit strange, and not as similar to what Darth Vader looks like in universe. Before this set, we saw the Darth Vader bust, and although also not perfect, it did look better than this one. The proportions are a bit off, and to me the face of the helmet looks a bit like a chibi character. It might just be me, but yeah, it doesn't look that great. For one of the most iconic Star Wars helmets, I think LEGO should have done a bit better. But at this size it might be a bit difficult, as getting all the details and accuracy would acquire a lot more size and pieces. The next one is really good, but suffers from one of the same problems as the previous two, and that is the TIE Pilot helmet. The shape is great, the build is very nice, and everything looks good, but the all black design makes it a little bit hard to actually appreciate the detail going into it. Of course, in universe this is a black helmet, so there isn't much LEGO could do about it or make it different in that sense, but unfortunately to me it does look a bit off in that sense, and I would rather have some of the other helmets on my shelf. Luke Skywalker's Red 5 helmet from 2022 is probably one of the most unique sets from the line, being the only helmet with an open face. However, this doesn't work as well in LEGO form as some would have hoped it would be. The build looks really nice and is what you would want from this helmet, I guess, but yeah, it feels empty and void, and I am not the biggest fan of it. The orange visors look a bit off as well, slanted a bit too much for my liking, but overall, I think it is the best we could have hoped for unfortunately, but it still came out strange looking. The Princess Leia Bouche helmet is another really interesting one that I wouldn't have expected to see in LEGO form, but it made for a surprisingly good set. It is unique, quite accurate, and looks really nice on a shelf, especially next to something like the Sail Barge or other Return of the Jedi based sets. However, there are some issues to point out, and to me the shaping is a little bit too narrow compared to the actual helmet. In universe, the helmet looks a bit more puffy or bulky, in some scenes or depictions at least, but here it looks too pointy, at least to me. Regardless, I think this is a really good one that I like quite a lot. A classic from the first sets of this wave is the Stormtrooper helmet, and this is one that some dislike quite a bit, but I think it is quite nice. We do see a lot of visible studs on this one, which is something I am generally not a fan of, but it makes sense why it is like this, and the shape regardless looks really good and it's nice to look at. The shape is very similar to the TIE Fighter Pilot, but of course in mainly white pieces it is much easier to see the details and appreciate the shape and look of the helmet, which is something I like a lot about this set. Now looking at one of the most iconic clone troopers ever made, I have to talk about the Captain Rex helmet. This was one that stirred the most excitement for many fans, including myself, and the actual set did deliver with a really nice helmet. There are some things that bother me a little bit though, that couldn't really be done much better, but the Jake eyes looks a little bit off to me. On the angle it is of course a bit difficult to perfect, but yeah, this is something that looks a bit odd and I am not the biggest fan of it. The overall shape of the helmet is quite good, not perfect though, and there are some helmet sets that I personally prefer a lot more. Some of my favorite helmets in the Star Wars universe is Mandalorian helmets, and these made for quite good LEGO Star Wars sets. First, looking at the Mandalorian himself, this all silver and grey helmet looks really nice, and was definitely a fan favorite for quite some time. The shape is really good, the silver details are really nice, and everything about this helmet is almost perfect. We do have a lot of visible studs on this one, but of course that is expected for a helmet like this, and I can easily accept it as a really good set that I would have on my shelf at any time. Similarly, Boba Fett's helmet made a really good set as well. I put it a bit higher on the list though, as I prefer his helmet in universe, and he has the rangefinder, which is something I like about Mandalorians that was never seen on the Mandalorian's helmet in universe. The colors are really nice, all the sand green and dark red, and it makes the black T-shaped visor pop a lot more than on the Mandalorian's helmet, which I like to see. Now reaching the top 3, I want to look at the brand new 8080 driver helmet. And this is one that has not released yet, and I am judging it completely off of the set images. But those offer quite a lot, and I have a bit to say about this one. This has potential to be one of the best helmet sets ever made, and definitely a turning point towards higher quality helmet sets in the future, as this one just looks really good. The shape is pretty much perfect, and one of my biggest issues with these sets, being visible studs, is pretty much solved on this one, with a lot of tiled areas and an overall really good design. The visor and mouthpieces look so good. The colors and shaping all around is just perfect, and this is a set I really didn't expect to be so impressed with. So LEGO really went the extra mile with this one, at least in my opinion. The runner-up in this video is Commander Cody's Phase 1 Clone Trooper helmet. This is one I like quite a lot, and to me looks way better than Captain Rex's helmet. The Phase 1 helmet shape correlates so much better to LEGO form, as there aren't many curves or rounder areas. And it is a simpler shape that can easily be depicted well in LEGO form. The visor and sun visor looks really good. The bits of curves and extended areas at the bottom is done very nicely with these sloped pieces, and overall it is a near perfect helmet set. And I would love to see more Phase 1 Clone Trooper helmets in the future. Even just a plain Phase 1 helmet or clone pilot would be really nice to see. And now what I think is the best LEGO Star Wars helmet set goes back all the way to 2021, and that is the Scout Trooper helmet. This one is really cool, and the Scout Trooper in general has one of the coolest helmets in all of Star Wars. Once again, it is a shape that correlates really well into LEGO form, with a lot of flat areas and not that many curves or rounder parts, so it works perfect here. There is a very good mix of plates and tiled off areas, exactly what I like to see in LEGO Star Wars sets of any kind, and I really regret never getting this one for my shelf back in the day, as it was the cheapest helmet set ever made, retailing at only $50. It was a great set, and easily one of the best modern LEGO Star Wars sets ever made. Let me know what is your favorite LEGO Star Wars helmet set, and then I will see you in the next one. God bless you, and cheers.